Welcome, guys. It's Over the Top Talk, episode 2. I'm here with Anthony.
How we doing? How are we?
Okay, it was a very interesting week. I'm doing fantastic. How about you?
Doing great, man. Doing great. Living and chilling.
Okay, the last week has obviously in wrestling has been very interesting to see. Let's start with Raw. We had Jay and the New Day go against Imperium. What were your thoughts on that match?
Um, well, obviously Jay being so over with the crowd, working with the New Day, um, with them also being so over with the crowd, I think we have a new tag team. I think for the long run with them, obviously Big E suffering his broken neck the better part of 2 years ago now. He might not be able to wrestle anymore, so we could see this going on in the future. And I think it was a really, really, really good match.
Um, Touching on that, would you consider Jey Uso to be the WWE's most over wrestler right now?
Yeah, I would honestly. Seeing that night, seeing Pat McAfee get up on the table, seeing the crowd all bouncing up there. I think Jay is gonna stay as the most over guy in the entire company. He has the entire support. He has the whole crowd behind him. All of Monday Night Raw seemed to be loving him. Obviously, well, with the exception of Drew McIntyre, but he's doing incredible work.
Yeah, I do also agree with that. Obviously, when Jey Uso's music hits the crowd, obviously does his little hand gesture. You obviously have Pat McAfee on the table. Everyone loves Jey Uso. I don't know how you can hate Jey Uso unless you're like this huge Bloodline fan, but obviously Jey Uso is one of the fan favorites, so can't wait to see that match with him and Gunther on Monday.
Yeah. That match is going to be incredible. Gunther putting on 5-star matches almost every match he has, going crazy. Unfortunately, I don't think Jay's going to come out on top, but the disruption of Jimmy coming out, costing him the match, maybe setting up the WrestleMania match. You think that could happen?
I do think that is where it's going to spark up. We haven't seen too much of Jimmy. Obviously, he's been alongside Roman, but I do think we will see him cost Jay for another title. And yeah, we will. I think we will see Jimmy's music hit on Monday, and that will be the reason Jey Uso starts a feud with them. So I'm very interested to see Monday night where that goes. And moving
Yeah,
on to the
me
Elimination
too.
Chamber qualifiers, we obviously saw Lashley take the win over Brunson, and very, very surprising to see. Obviously, the hometown hero lost, and he was very upset about it on social media. What are your thoughts on that match, and where do you think Brunson Reed stands now that he lost that?
Well, first off, the match was good. Two big behemoths going at it. Bobby Lashley being a well-known champion, been there for decades, um, being one of the top guys in the company, and Bronson Reed being, Bronson Reed, a huge guy, been there for I don't know, a year now, called up from NXT. Seeing them go at it. I was actually surprised seeing him lose that match. I thought he was going to go to Australia, be in the chamber. But now to come think of it, it makes more sense to have Lashley in there. But I think we might see a face version of Bronson Reed or a really strong heel version of him. But we'll see. We can go either way.
Um, yeah, I was very surprised. Obviously, WWE has done this before where they don't put the hometown people in, but yeah, that was very shocking that they put Lashley in over him. But obviously, Lashley's, um, I feel like he's obviously very good in the ring, so putting him in the chamber, I mean, isn't a terrible idea. So I can't wait to see where that goes. And um, moving on to the women's, we saw Liv Morgan win her match. Are you looking forward to the revenge tour continuing at the Elimination Chamber?
Yeah, I am. I'm a very big fan of Liv Morgan. Have been for since she's made her debut. You know, she's always been an underdog. Well, seemed to be an underdog. You know, she's not seen as a main eventer, but I think this new run as her revenge tour, I think she can become the main eventer that we all know that she can be, especially going after Rhea Ripley in her championship.
Yeah, I do agree with that 100%. Obviously, since returning, she's had this new tour that she's going on. She's obviously looking for revenge. Rhea's the reason she was out in the first place. So I think, obviously, after WrestleMania, I do see a storyline with her and Rhea, and I'm looking forward to that because they're two great females. They perform well in the rings. So putting them two in a feud and a match, maybe a couple, would be very fun to see.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be great.
Um, and then I want to talk about, we saw obviously the promo with Cody. He came out, said The Rock slapped him, you know, um, The Rock slapped him. He wants to slap The Rock back. Then we saw him interrupted by Seth, like we've seen many times before on Raw, but this time it wasn't for like to start a feud or anything. Seth was actually looking to go into Cody's corner for Mania and be like his shield. What were your thoughts on Seth coming out and saying all that?
Well, it was kind of surprising because Seth and Cody they've almost had a blood feud back when Cody returned from AEW. He obviously him being Cody's first feud, Seth Rollins. So seeing them kind of work together now is kind of it almost coming full circle. They don't have that animosity anymore. What they do, but they have this giant which are going after being Roman Reigns. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they work together to dethrone Roman or to try their best to dethrone him. And I'm really excited to see how them working together will come into effect.
Yep, I agree with all those points. I do want to see down the line a Rollins and Cody versus Roman and The Rock. I think the fans need to see that. Um, it wasn't really like a dream match, I guess, until now. I think everyone wants to see that. So I'd be down for that to happen at like night one, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
Um, Moving on with the promos, we'll go to Seth's wife, Becky Lynch, came out. She made a toast saying that it was going to be Rhea's last couple days, or weeks, I should say, as champion, because she's motivated. She wants to win the chamber. She wants to face Rhea at Mania. But then obviously we saw Nia Jax come out and say that Becky's overlooking her and that she'll actually be facing her at WrestleMania instead of Rhea. So, what were your thoughts on that whole promo that went down?
Well, I think Becky is one of the only wrestlers on the women's roster right now that really stands a threat to Rhea and her championship run. Obviously, Nia is challenging her at the chamber, but I really don't see Nia winning that. So I think seeing them kind of work together almost to knock Nia out of the equation is a sign of respect between the two women, between Becky and Rhea. So I think at Mania, I think we're going to see them in a match, and it's going to be almost who is the better woman is going to win out of a sign of respect for each other. They know each other's work ethic. They know how strong they are. They know how much they bring to the table, and when they come to fight, it's going to be almost a like I said a minute ago, kind of a standoff, and whoever the better person is that night is going to win.
Yep, I agree with that. Obviously, with Nia Jax, came back a couple months ago. She's a powerhouse. Obviously on Raw, we saw too that Rhea Ripley came out and fought Nia Jax, and we did see Rhea take out Nia Jax for like the first time, and obviously when she was over the top rope out of the ring, we saw this sign of respect between Becky and Rhea. So I do think this is going to be a very respected match, and I think this match deserves a main event. I don't think it's going to get it at Mania, but I think this is a main event worthy match between Rhea Ripley and Nia Jax.
Yep, I agree with that.
And moving on in the night, we saw the fan favorite LA Knight take his victory over Ivar. What were your thoughts on that match, and do you like the result of it?
Yeah, I'm very happy with the result of that match. I was rooting for LA Knight from the beginning to win that. I didn't really want Ivar to win. No offense to Ivar, I think he's great, but I think in that chamber, I think LA Knight fits better. I think he is going to work better with all the men in there being most of them being former WWE champions. So we'll see how he goes against them, and hopefully it's going to be a great match.
Yeah. Obviously, I am a huge fan of LA Knight as well, and I'm glad we don't have to see Ivar, go off one of those pods, do like his little move moonsault off the top one of them. So I'm glad we didn't see LA Knight lose because of the moonsault. It was very um, calming to see that.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I agree.
touching on that, to end Raw, we obviously saw Sami Zayn took another crushing loss, as we've seen the past couple of weeks, months, to Nakamura. Do you think this is like a new Sammy we're about to be introduced to because of this loss?
Yeah, I do. I think we're gonna see a heel version of Sammy, almost like he was in the Bloodline. Um, Maybe a little bit different. Maybe more of a revenge-based Sammy. Everyone's been doubting him for a while now, including like Drew McIntyre, uh, Roman Reigns, Jimmy Uso. All of them have been against Sammy. So maybe he's gonna kind of come back and um, kind of showcase how he is a main event star, how he can go in the um, for the championship. He can go against Seth Rollins. He can go against Roman Reigns. He can go against Cody. He can go against Drew. He can carry himself in that main event scene. So I can't wait to see that.
I am looking forward to this if we do get introduced to a new Sami Zayn. Because obviously I'm one of Sammy's supporters, so seeing him in the Bloodline was a really good side of him. I hope we do see a different side heel type, but I do think we are going to get that, and I think he's going to have an amazing couple feuds, whether it's with Nakamura or whether it's with Drew, whoever he feuds with. I think it's going to go very well for him. and I'm excited and looking forward to this new Sami Zayn phase.
Yeah, me too.
But obviously touching on that, the end of that match, we saw him get assaulted by Drew McIntyre and Nakamura. So
Hmm.
then we saw Cody Rhodes come to the aid of him. The question I have is, do you think Drew McIntyre's where do you think he stands in like Cody's feud? Because obviously we've seen him take shots at Cody. He has a match with Cody on Monday. Or do you think this is just like Drew McIntyre, like his personality now, just to go after everybody?
Um, I think Drew is gonna he's putting in some of the best work he ever has. First off, um, he's probably the top heel right now in the company, right next to Roman Reigns, um, on Raw. So I think we see him dabble around in maybe all the feuds going down, with Cody, with Sammy, with Seth, with all of them. Um, I think at WrestleMania he might be the one facing Seth Rollins actually, for the championship. Um, but obviously he has a problem with Cody too. He might be, with The Rock, join The Rock. Well, not like join him physically, but root for The Rock to beat up Cody. Root for Roman Reigns to beat up Cody too. So we'll see. We'll see what goes down with him.
Yeah, obviously this new persona on Drew McIntyre, I love it. Obviously, like you said, I am looking forward to the Elimination Chamber and seeing Drew hopefully win because I do want to see him main event to WrestleMania. Because well, not main event, but be in the World Heavyweight talks once again. And I think this time it'll go very well for him. Obviously, with Priest having the briefcase, do you think there's a possibility that Priest like cashes in that Seth Rollins match?
Yeah, I think it's a very, very high possibility. Um, I think he can possibly, become the new world heavyweight champion. He's deserving of it. He's been grinding. He's been working really, really hard to make it to this main event scene. Obviously, him being the undisputed, tag team champions with Finn Balor. Um, I think him getting that championship could lead to an implosion in the Judgment Day, maybe leading to, a match between Priest and Balor at SummerSlam or at the Money in the Bank or something like that. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Yep. I think obviously, um, moving on with the week, we saw Chad Gable come out with a statement on a podcast saying that he wants to face Gunther again. Would you want to see Chad Gable get this opportunity against Gunther again and possibly win the Intercontinental Championship if Jay doesn't win on Monday?
Yeah, I would love to see, Chad Gable get the opportunity again. Him being the he can be a main event star. Obviously, him having that background of the Olympics, um, almost like Kurt Angle. He can use that in the ring. He is phenomenal in the ring. He's very, very strong. He's capable of carrying a championship around. He's capable of defending it on a weekly basis. He's a part of the Off Academy right now, but I think him winning that, he could, still be a part of that faction, but he can go on to bigger and better things. A um, being a main event player, people wanting to come after him. He can put on great matches. We know that. We've seen him put on 5-star classics basically with the names of like Gunther, with Ivar, with all of them, etc. So um, I think just by giving him that one more time, I think he can win it, and he can take momentum from the crowd, and he can really have everybody back him up again like he once did.
Yep, 100%. Obviously being a huge fan of Gable, watching that match with him and Gunther, obviously Gable had a lot of hype going into that, but now he kind of has to like build himself up to feel like get that match again. So I hope he does get that match. I don't know if they're gonna do that, but I would like to see more Chad Gable in general. I feel like we haven't seen him a whole lot. So and move a little bit to NXT here. Obviously we saw Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin win the NXT Tag Team titles. How do we feel about that?
Yeah, well, the family, um, Tony D'Angelo and Chandler Lorenzo, Stacks, being the tag team champions for a while now, and having the Wolf Dogs come in, Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin, after winning the Dusty Cup final, getting the opportunity to become your new tag team champions, I think is a very good thing. Baron Corbin obviously not holding gold in the company for 6 years. I think he's going to put on some good matches. I don't think their run is going to be that long because we saw Braun Breaker obviously sign with SmackDown. So I think maybe they'll be the champions up until Stand and Deliver. Maybe like a month or two run. But I think after that, we're going to see a lot of Braun Breaker on the main roster, maybe even Baron Corbin too.
Yep. Moving to the final show of the week, SmackDown, obviously. Starting off, we saw Kevin Owens take down Dominic Mysterio, which Dom was actually our pick last week to make it to the Elimination Chamber. So how do we feel that Dom's now out and Kevin Owens is in?
I think it was a really not so good decision to have Kevin Owens win. Kevin Owens already being a bona fide Hall of Famer, getting called up from NXT the better part of almost 10 years ago now. He's done it all. He's won Intercontinental Championships. He's won U.S. belts. He's won the Universal belt before. He's been in the main event scene for a long time now. So putting him in there kind of takes away a little bit from Dominic Mysterio, because he's obviously 20. He's like 26 years old. He's still on the beginning of his career. He still has probably 15 to like 20 years left in his career. So hopefully he gets an opportunity later down the line, or maybe at WrestleMania or something like that. We'll see him being showcased somehow, some way. But I think he really deserved to be in that chamber, especially with all the work he's been doing. Him being the former NXT North American champion, he has the capability to carry a match. So I think them not putting him in there was really a missed opportunity.
Yep, definitely a missed opportunity indeed. Obviously, one other small point I want to make, and a question I guess I should ask is, we obviously saw Truth realize that he's not in the Judgment Day, putting the chair down and not giving it to Dom. So where do you think Truth is now going to stand now that he realizes that Dominic's not on his side?
Well, Truth obviously being ringside, thinking that Kevin Owens is the Miz. I think we might see at WrestleMania, we possibly could see a match, maybe between a reunion of the Awesome Truth, like we have for the past few weeks. Maybe even put the belts on the Awesome Truth. That would be a really, really nice to see R-Truth hold gold again in the company. Same thing with the Miz. The Miz is a really hard worker, going through with that. But like you said, I think him and the Judgment Day, him being out of it now and him realizing it can set up some good storylines and some great matches down the line.
I agree. I think we do need I think we will see True team up with The Miz, and I would love to see that again. Obviously, love both the personalities of The Miz and Truth, and they work very well. So, getting up to that tag team title rank would be very fun to see. And I think Truth does deserve it because he's on the shows a lot. He's entertaining. The fans love him. So, I've loved him since his return. So, interested to see where that falls.
Yep.
So, moving back to the woman for the chamber matches, we saw Tiffany Stratton, the newest star of SmackDown, win her match. How do we feel about the newest star of SmackDown going into the chamber for the first time?
Well, I think Tiffany Stratton she already looks phenomenal in the ring. She looks like she's been there for like a decade now. She's only 24 years old and she's already putting on these amazing matches. Um, Obviously, her with the past resume of winning the NXT Women's Championship, having the feud with Becky Lynch, having that amazing no holds barred match. Um, I think she's destined for greatness. I think she's gonna do some really tremendous things, and I think in the Elimination Chamber we're gonna have a really good showcase of her, kind of showing off her how talented she really is, and how she should be seen as a main event player and really really strong, and in that main event caliber that we all really wanted to see it.
Yep, agree with that 100%. She had a lot of great matches on NXT. Obviously, we saw her as champion for a little bit. I think throwing her in the Elimination Chamber is a nice way to um, introduce her to the fans that don't really watch NXT and get to experience her for the first time. It'll be a very fun match. I think she'll do great, and obviously, if she doesn't win, I do hope to see more of her in the ring.
Yep.
And
I totally agree.
we'll go back to the men's here for the chamber. We did see the United States champion Logan Paul win his match against The Miz, and it was actually a fair end result. He didn't have to cheat or anything.
Yeah, which is I think it's really good to see. Logan Paul winning clean. Said that like he tried obviously to use the brass knuckles. He tried to get it from the guy outside the ring, manager Jeff, but seeing him win clean, being a kind of being fair, well for the most part, I think we're gonna see a lot more Logan Paul from now on. We're gonna see him on almost a weekly basis. So hopefully down the line we'll see him as a fair player. We'll see him as a person who can win championships on his own, a person who can carry matches on his own, and I'm really excited to see what he can do.
And to stay on Logan Paul for a second here, do you think he loves making highlight reels in the ring? Do you think we'll see another highlight reel moment at the chamber match?
Yeah, definitely. With all the past years, we've had some amazing highlight reels in the chamber. So I think this year it's going to be Logan Paul's turn to climb to the top of the cage and flips off there. Come to the top of a pod, do something off there, and I think we should keep an eye out for that. We're definitely going to see something huge.
Yep, I'm looking forward. I mean, I didn't like Logan Paul coming into the company, obviously, but he's grown on me since joining, so I love all his highlight reels. Obviously looking for more. I think the Elimination Chamber is the perfect place just because of the pods. You can climb up the cage, as we've seen superstars do in the past, and with Logan Paul, I mean, anything's possible. I mean, he can do almost everything, like the flips and stuff. He's got it down. So obviously, yeah, I do hope we see a highlight reel, and I do think we will.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, moving to the last match, for the qualifiers at least. For the woman, we saw Naomi qualified. Um, how do we feel seeing her in another main event pay per view?
Well, we all know what Naomi's capable of. When she left the company first, she was a tag team champion with Sasha Banks. You know, she's definitely a main event player. She can carry her own. She can put on some classics. So I'm not I'm not surprised at all that she's in this, and I think she's gonna showcase herself really, really good to fans who haven't seen her before. I think she's gonna let the world know who she is, and we're gonna have to keep an eye out to see some upcoming promos or anything from her. So get ready for that.
Yep, 100%. Obviously her return at the Rumble was very good. Throwing her in another pay per view live, I think, is the right decision. So I'm glad we get to see more Naomi in the ring, and obviously she's well liked with the fans as well. So as long as she's hated, so I think we'll get a very, very good match out of her, and I'm curious to see how that match will play down. Obviously, there's still one more spot for the woman. Now that we know that Jade is officially out of that match, and I think there's a battle royale happening sometime this week. So, do you have any thoughts of who's gonna be in that battle royale and who's gonna like get that last spot?
Um, I have some ideas of who it could possibly be. I think someone who might make a little bit of sense could be Jordan Grace. You know, we saw her in the Rumble. She's over from TNA. Um, and she was in there for a long time. Maybe WWE wants to tease a possible deal going on between them two. You know, we'll see some stars go over to TNA from WWE. We'll see some stars from TNA come over here, like we did with Jordan Grace, or maybe it can be someone who is deserving of another title shot, like the Naomi's. Well, she's already in it, but like maybe people like Natalia. She's obviously a Hall of Famer. She's been there for a long time. Maybe someone like Chelsea Green. Maybe um someone like what's her name? Her tag team partner Piper Niven. She could be there too. You know, someone along those lines. Someone who's kind of a mid card fighter could possibly become a main eventer overnight by participating in that match.
Yep. Obviously, there's a lot of females that you can put in that match. I think pulling Jado was the wrong decision, but I do think we will see someone that we haven't seen a lot of in a ring. I mean, um, I do agree with you, Chelsea Green. I think would be a perfect fit just because she's obviously not as good as the other performers in the ring, but maybe if you throw her into a match like that, we'll like see something out of her. But she's obviously a fan favorite as well. So if you want to throw Chelsea in there, I don't think anyone would complain about it.
Yep.
And we talked about Braun a little bit earlier, so we can move on to the main event promo. We saw the Bloodline come out without The Rock at first. We heard Roman hopped on the mic for a little bit. Obviously said the newest member is The Rock and announcing that The Rock is now in the Bloodline. Then we saw The Rock come out, obviously. What were your thoughts on that promo in general?
Um, I think the promo was pretty good. You know, some of it didn't make a lot of sense. Obviously, The Rock just being a good guy a few weeks ago and coming in as Hollywood Rock tonight. Last night, being that big bad heel. You know, working alongside the Bloodline. which makes me kind of think it could be an act. He really has no reason to be like that. He could be trying to act like that to maybe destroy the bloodline from in out. You know, so maybe we'll see The Rock maybe help Cody Rhodes win the championship at WrestleMania. And again, a reason why I lean towards that is we saw obviously The Rock hold up the L instead of the 1 in the at the end of the show. So I think people have really caught on to that, and they're seeing that as almost The Rock not really actually acknowledging Roman Reigns or the bloodline. So we'll see how that plays out.
Yep, it was obviously seeing Hollywood Rock after so long. Um, I feel like it was rushed as well. They kind of squeezed like a couple weeks ago. It was supposed to be Roman and The Rock. Obviously, that got changed, but I think that was obviously because the fans, wanted Cody instead of The Rock. Um, but yeah, sticking with The Rock, we did see him put the L up, and obviously he whispered something to Cody on that Raw, or not Raw, that SmackDown that 1 week. So I do think The Rock's a secret agent for Cody, and that he will turn on Roman come WrestleMania. Nobody will be able to stop him, not even Solo Jimmy. I feel like a rock bottom to Roman would just like perfectly end his reign.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And sticking with The Rock, do you think it's impossible for him to be a heel knowing that he's disliked by the fans?
Yeah, The Rock has been a good guy now for a really, really long time. The last time he was a heel was obviously the Hollywood Rock back in 2003, and he is so beloved by everybody. He's a legend in the company. So no matter what his persona is, I think he's always going to be cheered. If he's bad, if he's good, if anything, he's always going to be cheered by fans. And him being the Hollywood Rock again is going to be like a nostalgia trip for a bunch of people. So I think he is. It's going to be really difficult to keep him as a heel. It's going to be really hard to. It's going to be really hard to make the fans boo him, and I think that might be all part of the plan because I think he's going to help out Cody Rhodes in the end.
Yep, totally agree with that. I do think with obviously even after trash talking the fans, they still shared him all the way out of the arena. Obviously, when the cameras were cut off, he was seen like giving some fans like high fives and everything. So obviously, he still loves the fans. Even the last night, he said he didn't, and the fans love him just as much back. So I think it's impossible to make a guy with The Rock at this point. He's 50. He's been around the company for a long time as like a non-heel. So yeah, I do think it's impossible for him to be like a full heel just because nobody really like hates The Rock, because it's impossible to hate The Rock.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
To finish off the show, I think we should make our final Elimination Chamber predictions. Obviously, we don't know the woman's like the last person yet, but we'd still talk about it because next week by this time we'll know who won. So who do you think is going to win the men's and women's Elimination Chamber matches?
Well, I think the women's chamber, I think the winner of that is going to be Becky Lynch, big time Bex. I think she's gonna come out on top and challenge Rhea Ripley. And for the men's side, I think we're gonna have Drew McIntyre win that, and he's gonna go face to face with Seth Rollins at WrestleMania.
Yep, I think we both agree on that because obviously Drew McIntyre, we've seen him in a lot of promos involving Seth. I mean, I think he deserves the win more than anybody in that match. For the woman too, Becky Lynch. She's obviously like a fan favorite. She's one of my favorites in the ring for the women's division. So I think she also deserves the win. Obviously, she's never had a match like this before, but I think giving her this win would mean a lot to her career and a great like story to WrestleMania with Becky Lynch.
Yep, I totally agree with that, man. I totally agree.
And I think that's a good way to wrap off episode 2. So thank you guys for
Yep.
listening to us.
Yep. And
And
next time we yeah, what I was saying with that, next time we come back on here on live, we're going to be going over all the winners of the Elimination Chamber and all the other matches that take place in that show. So keep an eye out for that.
yep. Make sure to follow us on YouTube, Spotify, and Instagram. And we'll see you guys next week when we're talking about the Elimination Chamber.